The DA is not happy about Mr. President Cyril Ramaphosa after he was invited at the Zimbabwean annual agricultural event that was celebrating 130 years. It is more like an exhibition that is held annually, and some of the farmers are invited to exhibit their own products at the event. So Mr. President was a guest speaker from South Africa, obviously, and the DA is not having it, particularly because of the speech that Mr. President made and selecting, or rather, should I say, talking about the land reform in Zimbabwe. Dumela Kazi, welcome back to the cafe. If you are new here, welcome, and if you are returning, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. Wow. This is the second video that I made after my holiday, and it feels good to be back. It really feels good to be back. But anyway, without wasting any more time, let's get into this video. So before we get into the shenanigans of the statement of the Democratic Republic of the DA, rather, why am I saying the Democratic Republic of Congo now? Democratic Alliance, in short, the DA. So this is the statement that did not sit well with the DA regarding the land reform in Zimbabwe, which obviously Cyril Ramaphosa decided to endorse the land reform and how it was handled in Zimbabwe. You remember that Zimbabwe started with the seizing of land from white farmers in Zimbabwe early in the 2000s, long time ago, like years ago, during the time that Mugabe was still a president, and obviously he was still alive before he died. I'm not making fun of that, but anyway, during the time of Mr. President Robert Mugabe, as we all know that Mnangagwa is the new dictator of Zimbabwe, and so the DA did not like the fact that Cyril Ramaphosa is endorsing this whole shenanigan that happened in Zimbabwe. We all know what went down, but first, let's watch this video.
On independence in 1980, the new democratic government of Zimbabwe had to take on a momentous task of dismantling colonial-era patterns of land ownership and agriculture. Most of your country's commercially productive land and large-scale commercial farms were owned by white people. The black majority of your country was confined to communal land and all but completely excluded from commercial farming. This, in many ways, mirrored our own experience in South Africa, where a large portion of land was taken away from black people of our country. For yourselves as Zimbabweans, it was therefore essential for both historical redress and food security, and for development and economic growth, that your government should embark on ambitious reforms to facilitate the entry of black Zimbabweans into productive agriculture, including support to small-scale farmers. Agriculture is the cornerstone of Zimbabwe's economy. We congratulate the government of Zimbabwe for the measures it has taken to revive the country's agricultural sector through policy reforms.
So as you can see that Mr. President Cyril Ramaphosa decided to endorse what went down in Zimbabwe, not really going deeper into details on what were the implications of the whole seizing of land in Zimbabwe, which was done forcefully and badly, and to the point that Zimbabwe's economy collapsed, and now we have an influx of Zimbabweans in South Africa that are obviously here for work purposes, that are here for medical purposes, and all that makes it so difficult for South Africans to be able to go to clinics without queuing up the whole flipping day, because the system was not designed to house everybody who is coming into the country, including the most people that are coming into the country, which are from Zimbabwe. And this is what the DA had to say about this speech. And I will tell you my whole thing about the speech and how I viewed both sides and all of those things. On Friday in Harare, President Ramaphosa wrongfully praised Zimbabwe's land confiscation process in the early 2000s as essential and ambitious. The DA condemns and rejects this praise by Ramaphosa for a process which left Zimbabwe in tatters, destroying its economy, destroying its foreign relations, and creating famine for its people. Because land was not legally transferred, the failed Zimbabwe model praised by Ramaphosa led to crippling financial representation being due to former farmers and landowners. Ramaphosa is attempting to whitewash the disaster in Zimbabwe to create momentum for the ANC's land expropriation agenda and in terms of the Expropriation Act of 2025. The DA family believes in the need to redress the injustices of the past, particularly through fair and lawful land reform that restores dignity and economic opportunity. However, this redress must occur within the bounds of the Constitution and the rule of law, which expropriation without compensation does not meet. The DA, as a governing partner in South Africa's government of unity, National Government of Unity, reiterates that it is not an agreed or formal policy of the South African government to endorse Zimbabwe's land confiscation program. Hear me out. I understand what they're saying, and I am actually with them. I am actually with the DA on this one, because you cannot endorse what happened to Zimbabwe and don't even say that this is what is the situation right now. And we know what is the situation right now. We're not even going to touch the fact that Mnangagwa, as the president of Zimbabwe, is just a dictator. We're not going to be even touching that one. The people of Zimbabwe cannot even say anything bad in their country regarding Mnangagwa, because obviously they will be jailed, and they cannot even protest because they will be killed. They cannot even, no political party should come close to competing or going against the current government in Zimbabwe, because we know what happened to Tsangarai. You remember Tsangarai? We know what happened to Tsangarai, and Tsangarai is no more right now because of the clashes that happened in Zimbabwe. We all know that no one will be able to compete with ZANU-PF at the moment until ZANU-PF feels like they are ready to hand over the actual baton to whoever, which is any political party in Zimbabwe. There is no fairness in Zimbabwe, and I know there's a lot of people that I spoke to, especially people coming from Zimbabwe, saying that there is no fairness within the Zimbabwean political sphere. And South Africa has been endorsing that unfairness throughout the years. That is why you see a lot of Zimbabweans coming into the country and they've got this arrogance that you South Africans, you are the one who put us in this whole mess because your country is funding this political party so that this political party can always hold every single thing in this country. And this political party won't have any competition. You South Africans are the one responsible because obviously as South Africans, we are responsible for voting in or out the ANC. And the ANC has been in parliament since way back in the 90s. And we are still crying today because people keep on voting the same ANC. And that same ANC is the one that is endorsing the same ZANU-PF that people are not really gelling with in Zimbabwe. Yes, there are people that are gelling with ZANU-PF, especially the ones that are getting something out of gelling with this political parties. Same way in South Africa, we know that there are people who are getting tenders and all of those things, and those people will definitely keep on voting the ANC because they are getting something out of the ANC. And that's why I agree with the DA on this one, because you cannot endorse what is happening in Zimbabwe and not saying what are the consequences, because there are a lot of consequences. We can see the consequences of going against certain countries in the world. We can see the consequences of going against the US at the moment, because obviously we might not see it exactly in real time, but it's coming. It is coming. If we don't get other markets that will buy our own stuff, we are doomed as a country, because obviously the tariffs in the United States, we cannot compete in the United States market if we've got 100% tariffs or 50% or 30% tariffs. We cannot compete because our products would be very expensive. That is because of going against a powerhouse. So that's what happened in Zimbabwe. They went against a powerhouse, or they went against powerhouses, and that's when everything went down the drain. The ones who are up there, the Mnangagwas and his people, they are living comfortably. If they are sick or whatever, they fly over, coming into South Africa's private hospitals or going overseas. But the normal people in Zimbabwe, they don't get all that, just because of that ruthless land reform that happened in Zimbabwe. And that was not really land reform. That was forcefully removing people from their land. Yes, we can go back to colonialism and all of those things. At the moment, we're not talking about that. We know that people were injured during that forceful removal of white people that owned the land over there. It was not done accordingly. If it was done accordingly, maybe I would have had a different perspective, but it was not done accordingly. It was a forced removal, and the arrogance in it, that is the reason why the economy in Zimbabwe collapsed. And that is what will happen in South Africa if this land reform is not done properly. And no one should be exempted because, for example, Ingonyama Trust and all of those things, that should not be exempted. That should be, they should look into it if that is happening. If they cannot look into that one, then they must leave our land. Because obviously on my side, I wouldn't love to see ANC taking away the land that I worked so hard for to obtain it, the land from my family, for example, that I worked so hard to retain it. So those are the things that would make this whole land reform not happen accordingly. And also the people of Zimbabwe, there's no dignity, because the land that was seized from the white people was not given to the people of Zimbabwe. It was given only to the elite people. Those are the things that Ramaphosa doesn't highlight. He just endorses what he wants to endorse. He doesn't highlight that the people that are running away from that country coming into this country, they cannot claim land. They cannot say, this is my land and I am going to plant here. The only people that are claiming that land are the people that are close to Mnangagwa, families, friends, whoever, the elites. That's all. So there is no dignity for Zimbabweans. That's why Operation Dudula is kicking them out from the clinics and all of those things, because they are not dignified. There is no dignity. They don't have the land in their hands, and they cannot work. They cannot make anything on that land. If the government did it right and say, okay, we're going to seize the land, or we're going to take the land, we have spotted this and this and that and that and that, and that's what we're going to take. And what happened to the people who got paid? Obviously, the people are getting paid to come back, to return. White people are getting paid to return to Zimbabwe, to actually work the land, because that's the main issue. And the DA, coming to the DA, yes, I do agree with their own narrative and their own statement, but you are the same DA who said that the undocumented people should not be deported or all of those things. We know you. We know the DA, especially in the Western Cape, with them having Zimbabweans working everywhere here, like in the tourism industry and all of those things, and underpaying them, because obviously it's easy to underpay someone who's illegally in the country, illegally in the Western Cape, and then you underpay them because they're not going to say anything. But you cannot underpay a South African, because a South African would go to CCMA or Labour Department and all of those things to fight for their own rights, right? That is the thing. So you, as a DA, you did not back people like us when we said, no, we have to look at this influx of immigrants in the country. You, Helen Zille, decided to say, no, we want the foreigners in this country. We want these illegal immigrants in this country because they are available for the economic growth. So now drink your own medicine. This is your own medicine. Anyway, tell me what you think about this whole thing. If you like conversations like this, please do subscribe and make sure you hit that notification bell. Like this video, it helps a lot. And also comment down below with your own thoughts. I would like to hear what you think about this whole thing. I'll see you on my next upload. Have a fantastic one. Peace.